So certainly been called too much for having too many facial expressions and showing emotion at work. I guess over the years I've grown to be called too much for having presence and for being loud and speaking out loud and maybe sort of being better, I guess, than some boys in things that I do. But certainly, yeah, in workplace environment, about having too much emotion and expressing too much on my face.
Okay, and do you want to tell us some anecdotes or stories about this that you can have said them before, or if you've got any new ones, or in your career how you've experienced being called too much?
Yeah, so I was in a work environment and I have been very successful for quite some time, and have been going through some rough patch at work at that particular moment. And one of the senior leaders of the business called me in to tell me, to sort of have a conversation with me. And that conversation turned into something which I wasn't very happy about. But in essence, he told me that I need to build resilience because I show too much emotion on my face. And so, I really need to work on building my resilience and showing less emotion, that people always know, what am I feeling, and I express it too much on my face. And so obviously I was super shocked, and I just didn't really know what to say. And I think at that point in time, he started to explain to me what resilience means. And I was like, yeah, I know what resilience means. I can't really connect it to what you're asking me to do here. I think I'm pretty resilient. I've lived through some rough things in my life and wars and so on. But so resilience is a bit odd word for this, but certainly he wanted me to work on resilience, understand resilience, in order to not show emotion on my face. And so that was very stressful for me at the time. But some time has passed and I've left the business, and since I've resigned, we've had some conversation to follow, in which he has shown too much emotion. He was very upset that I was leaving, so he was almost trying to get some emotion out of me, and I wasn't really reacting much. I was just listening to what he had to say. And he proceeded to tell me, oh, well, you're not showing anything on your face. I don't understand what is going on, which I thought was quite funny and ironic, given that he's asked me to not show any emotion on my face. So I think initially I was very shocked and upset, and I thought that, and I still think, I am very successful in my workplace, and I was very, very upset that, I sort of took it as something, I did something wrong, and I certainly don't want to be seen in such way or do wrong in workplace. My career is very important for me. So I think initially it really affected me. I was really upset about it. I don't think that lasted long, and when I started thinking about it and talking through it with my friends and my family, I think that my emotion and my emotional intelligence is what actually makes me successful in workplace, and it would be a shame for me to stop showing that and stop using it, because I genuinely don't think that I would be as successful at what I do if I wasn't expressing any emotional intelligence.
Yeah, which leads us nicely on to how your too much is your power, do you think? And if you had to give some advice to other young women who have been called, or even young men who are emotional and are not, people who are humans who are not fitting into gender social norms in terms of in the workplace, like what advice would you give to them about, and how you've dealt with being called too much, but also how actually that's how it's a great thing, like in sort of specifically why that's such a great asset to have in the workplace.
I think certainly being unique in a workplace makes people more successful. I think that we are in a workplace or outside a workplace, we conform to certain norms or what we think are norms, and it's not good. I think if we were all the same, we wouldn't be creative, we wouldn't be able to imagine, we wouldn't be able to build things, we wouldn't be able to be who we are ultimately, and to contribute to the society. And I think it is very important to you can be unique in whichever way you want, but I think it's very important to have confidence and to believe in yourself. And most importantly, I think it's, about not giving up. And there are so many times in my life that I was on the verge of giving up because, I am from Serbia and I need a visa to come and work in the UK. And that was so stressful, getting and finding someone that's willing to, sponsor you to work here. That's just one of the examples of things that I've gone through. But I think being persistent and being confident in yourself is really important. And so that's one of the things that I would say I really think younger generation needs to think about. But not to, there is a border in the level of confidence that I would expect as well from younger generations, because I think that it's important to be confident, but you need to be humble about it as well, and be proud but be humble. And I don't know if to work together, but I think it has worked for me. And I'm in a senior position in a business that I work for, and I am I think my confidence and my pride, humbleness, and openness have really helped me get there. So
it's kind of like emotional intelligence,
yes,
knowing when to do what, right?
Yes. Yeah, so of course I work in product management and product development. So I build new products and I have to engage with customers a lot. So I work with different customers. And like with anything you do in life, you get happy customers and you get unhappy customers. So I think that, if we do get unhappy customers, I'm often the person that's put in front of them because I'm able to connect with them and really understand what are the core issues or core problems that they're having, and try and communicate or, really work to communicate how we as a business are going to fix those problems. And I think customers are really, they rely on me, I'm able to connect with them, and they will follow up with me and build, relationships with me that are long lasting. And I think that's really, really useful to have. So, I think I'm capable of building relationships very easily because I'm good, I guess, at emotional intelligence. I'm good at people reading and understanding, and I think it's also about listening to them. So really trying to understand what other people are saying or what the problems they have, if they have problems that they're going through. So connecting through listening is probably very important.
Yeah, if you had to create a program for your work for women and men, in terms of sort of breaking down negative gender influences, what would the topics be? What would you talk to them about?
I do that in my work.
Do you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, God, amazing.
Yeah,
so what do you say?
I am, within the business that I work for, I am part of the founders of the Lean In Circle for women primarily. And we do often talk about standing up, speaking up, having a voice, being able to communicate to others, but really being heard. And, everyone's heard of mansplaining and men taking over, men interrupting and so on. I think it's important for women to be able to express what they want to say in a concise manner, but also to be heard. And if they're not heard, if someone else has taken over, I think they need to take the power back. So you need to have the ability to sort of take it back and say, yeah, those are my words and that's what I've said. And we often shy away from that. So those are the type of things that I've worked in my workplace with other women to try and help facilitate. But apart from that, I also work with other businesses to help bring more women into technology and finance. And so really focused on STEM subjects, but in our case, it's more about coding, development, and that type of things, given that we work in software development, product development. So I think it's about educating young women that, all of us when we were little girls, or most of us, wanted to be singers or dancers or whatever. I think it's about educating them that, if you are a coder, you're not particularly some geek that sits in a dark room hacking something. There are some really, really creative jobs in technology today. And I think, there are so many women out there that are successful in this world that, we don't even know about. There are only a few of whose names we know, but certainly we can have a lot more, and their names can be remembered longer term. So, yeah. I think we should be pushing for that and striving for that.
Definitely.
I think I'd say you're not too much. Just be yourself, and being yourself makes you unique. And make sure not to lose that. And you don't have to feel that you need to conform to the norms of society. You being you is what makes you different. And I think really enjoy it and use it to your own advantage.